Hey, I'm Dr. Toby. Welcome to the Rehab mobile channel. Thank you for coming to check out our channel. In this video, I want to help you out if you're having pain with hip arthritis to show you 3 exercises that are going to be helpful for relieving that pain and discomfort. So if you're somebody who's been having achy, sore, pain and discomfort in your hip, these exercises that we're going to go over are going to be extremely fundamental for helping you to know how to get relief on a daily basis. By the way, if you're new to our channel, you should hit the subscribe button because we make videos on how to stay healthy, pain-free, fit, and mobile. So if you want to achieve your best self, living your best life, feeling your best, and having the best quality of life and best health, then this is a channel to subscribe to. So thank you in advance for subscribing. Let's get right into today's topic. All right, so when it comes to dealing with hip arthritis, this can be really problematic because, as you probably may or may not know, the arthritis in your hip is inflammation. There is some type of inflammatory response that's sending fluid to heal tissue that's being injured. So most of the times we focus on the inflammation and wanting to calm it down. We're going to try to put things on like Bengay or putting some anti-inflammatory medications into our system or taking some ice and things of that nature to calm down the inflammation. But the inflammation is merely only a result. So it's just a result of what's actually happening. There may be some degeneration of the joint, some grinding, or some type of degeneration that's occurring some way and somehow for people who have other conditions such as necrosis of their femur and things of that nature due to other conditions. There may be a whole lot of reasons why you're having a degeneration. But the main thing is that we want to do exercises that are going to help to increase that joint space and to stretch out those muscles. So you're going to have some tightness and pain that's going to be due to multiple things, not only to the joint being painful, but the muscles that surround the joint are also going to be painful because they're going to be being affected by the quality of that joint. So a couple things you want to think about first. A simple, really basic exercise to do. There's a position in which your hip is optimally spaced, and that position is called the open pack position, open P-A-C-K position. So this is where your hip has optimal freedom and liberty and movement, meaning where the actual femur or your thigh bone is optimally spaced where there's the most space possible. So one of the things that we can do on a daily basis to help us kind of achieve more of that open pack position versus if I'm sitting down in a chair, which I'll kind of exemplify in a moment. I'm sitting down in a chair, I'm more closed off, that joint is more closed together. It's gonna be more painful. So a lot of people feel pain when they're getting up from standing. So one of the things you do on a regular basis is just putting your hands right at your hips, right below your lower back, and pushing forward. Gliding those hips forward. You really want to focus on hands really where your rear is, where your bottom, your glutes are, or maybe slightly above. And you can kind of play with the hand placement for whatever may feel comfortable for you. But ultimately, you want to just push forward and feel that little stretch in that anterior part, the front of your hips. And why this is going to be helpful is because it's going to be opening up that hip capsule, that hip joint. Now, the thing is, this may feel uncomfortable initially, especially if you are already having some severe symptoms or discomfort or pain. But the thing is that as you do it, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 reps, you should start to feel a little bit better. If you don't, then that's not a problem. That just means you probably need a little bit more specific guidance or relief before you're able to do certain exercises. One of the best ways to know what's going to be ideal for your specific situation is to talk to a PT first. So hit the link in our description if you want a free conversation with a doctor of physical therapy who can tell you exactly what you need to do to relieve your hip pain permanently. Now, again, with this exercise, it's lumbar extension. What we're really doing, however, even though we're extending our lower back, what we're really focusing on is gliding our hips forward and helping to put some force through that joint. So this is going to help to stretch it out. And again, like I said, first couple may feel uncomfortable or discomforting, but after you've done 5 or 7, you should, if you notice a improvement in terms of the amount of discomfort and relief, that's a positive sign. Now let's show you the next exercise. Next exercise is really simple. What you're going to do is what's called a lateral lunge, but what we're really focusing on is that lateral mobility of our hip to kind of open it up. So we want to spread those legs. I would usually recommend having a chair, something for you to hold on to, People with different levels of balance or different levels of physicality may not be able to do certain exercises that we're kind of showing, but if you're able to do these exercises safely, then this may be helpful for you. So assuming that I have the discomfort here on my right hip, what I'm gonna do is I want to glide my body. I really wanna put this hand on this hip because we're not just doing a normal lateral lunge. You wanna put some pressure there, very gentle, and just kind of rock little oscillations. Now, again, the degree to which how far you go determines how much of a stretch you put on that joint. And so you can control how far you go. Maybe going this far is painful, but maybe just coming right here and just gliding, all right? Those little oscillations are gonna be encouraging some, pain relief to our nervous system, and it's going to help our joint to feel a little bit better. So working on that, doing that motion. I have something here to support me. You can do this at a countertop. And again, you can determine how far you go. Now you may want to hold that for 5 to 10 seconds. And again, starting off may be a little bit more uncomfortable, but as you go, if it starts to feel better, that's a positive sign. If it starts to feel worse and more problematic, then that's a sign that you definitely want to talk to a physical therapist first to get some specific guidance on what's going on with your hip, because there are different angles at the hip that can cause more discomfort and less discomfort. So most people try to find a position of relief or lack of, with reduced pain, and they struggle to find that position, whether it's when they're sleeping or going up and down stairs or doing activities. So talking to a PT first, we're movement experts, we can tell you exactly how to understand your body and the anatomy, so that way you are able to find positions of comfort, relief when it comes to daily activities like getting in and out the car or standing for long periods or walking and things like that. So the last exercise I want to show you is called a forward lunge. So what it is, it's kind of isolating what we did and being more specific with that first exercise. What you're going to do, you can have your hand holding onto something, and what you're going to do is you're just going to lean back just like that. Yep, keeping that heel down and giving a nice little glide forward. Feel that. And you can hold that for 10 to 15 seconds. Do it 3 times. Doing it several times throughout the day can be very, very helpful for relieving, because you're not only addressing the joint, but also the muscles that can feel sore or really tight, or really achy, and feeling that sharp kind of pain when you move in certain positions. So these things are going to be very, very, very helpful. Bonus exercise that I'll show you that you can do right from your chair. Something that's really simple. Ideally, having an elevated chair is going to be better, because once you're in a position like this where your hip is more closed off, it becomes a little bit more challenging. And for people with severe arthritis, that can be very painful. But doing an exercise like this, where you are able to move that leg apart, put some external rotation, can be helpful. But again, this ideally will be better if you have an elevated surface. So I'll show you an example of what that would be like. All right, so got some pillows right here. Sit on it. What it does is it helps to open up that position and that angle of our hip, and moving that hip outward. You can let it hang there for a little bit, for 5 to 10 seconds, bring it back and do that 3 times. You can also put a little bit more of a stretch by just gently putting your hand there to glide it out, stretch it out, and that can be very, very helpful for relieving it, especially throughout the day. And the more that you relieve it throughout the day, because most of the times you will find that they wake up in the morning, hip is going to be stiff, they start to walk around, move it around, starts to feel better, but by the end of the day, it's more sore, aggravated. And so the more that you're gently relieving it throughout the day, the better that it's actually going to begin to feel, because it's not compounding that stress. You're able to decrease the amount of stress that's being placed on it, decreasing the amount of inflammation, and therefore by the end of the day, it won't be as accumulated or as just a combined amount of intense pain and discomfort you're feeling, because you've been relieving it throughout the day. Most of the times people just try to take medication to make these things feel better, but the challenge is medication is only going to mask the pain. It's not necessarily going to mask what's still happening. If there's grinding, degeneration of the joint, things of that nature. So These exercises are helpful because they help to correct your body's actual root issue for why the pain and the discomfort and the inflammation is occurring. So give these a try and let us know in the comments if you found it helpful. Like this video if you found it helpful, and share with somebody else who you know it can benefit. And leave us a comment letting us know what other information you would like us to teach you about hip pain and hip arthritis. If you have any questions, again, if you're somebody who maybe has a severe discomfort in your hip and maybe these don't help you, that's not a problem. You just need specific guidance. So hit the link in our description to talk to a PT first, and we'd love to give you some specific guidance on what you need to be doing specifically, because it's not always one size fits all, and sometimes it's just about how you modify these activities in terms of how long you do it, how frequently, and that can be what makes a difference for you. So we can give you all that helpful information. You may have had a hip replacement or just gotten a hip replacement, and these exercises may not be appropriate for you, and you want to know what kind of things you want to do. So we can also help you with that information as well, depending on what kind of situations you are coming from with your hip diagnosis or pain or discomfort. So again, thanks for hitting the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.